Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, John the House Guy, here with my lovely co-host,
Kim the Homegirl.
And this is the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, where we try each week to bring you relevant information about real estate and home building. And this week, we're going to talk about how to choose your flooring.
You're listening to the House Guy and Homegirl podcast, a podcast about real estate and real life. As realtors, home builders, and real estate investors, John and Kim keep it real. Former teachers turned real estate professionals, they have a heart for helping others. Join them each week as they discuss all things home. And now, here's your hosts, John and Kim.
Hey, do you enjoy this kind of content? If you do, please don't forget to subscribe down below. Give us a share, give us a like, hit that notification bell, whatever it is that you can do to help us grow our channel and help us bring you the most relevant and up-to-date information about home building and real estate each week. So we're going to talk about flooring and how to make flooring choices. We got a lot of samples and stuff this week to kind of talk through Kim's process and how she does all that. But first of all, what's been going on with you this week, Kim?
This week, oh my goodness, I don't even know. This week has just flew by. Jogged my memory a little.
I don't know. All I know is two things happened to me. Three, really. Two bad and one good, right? So, number one, I got a little bit of a cold.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with that. Number two, I put 2 boxes of tile on top of a buggy at Lowe's, and they fell off on my foot.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Crushed my toe.
Yeah.
Hurt really bad.
And what did I say? That if you would have been working for Lowe's or some other place, you would have been fired after you would.
Because of the way I did it.
I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
no,
it was definitely.
So he put 2 boxes of tile on a buggy.
On top of a buggy.
On top of a buggy, like laid across, like here's the buggy and then here's the, we're just going to lay these tile right there. Mm-hmm. Anyways, and then energy, when he was walking to his car, it went a little too fast and the tile.
Yeah.
And then he put his toe up there and crushed it.
Like under instinct, like when you drop a jar or something, you stick your foot out there, but I stuck it out there under probably.
Thankfully, though, I don't think it's broken.
Probably 80 pounds, 100 pounds of tile. I don't know, but yeah, it hurt. It doesn't feel good. But the good thing that happened was I finally got my Kamado Joe grill.
Oh, yeah.
That I've been wanting to get for over a year. Got it on.
Y'all, John bought how much is it usually?
It's $12.99 is the sticker price.
$12.99. And a Kamado Joe, if you don't know, are familiar with, is the equivalent to a green egg, per se.
Except it's better.
And it's orange. That's the only bad thing.
It's red.
Well,
it's not orange.
It's orange.
It is not orange.
Okay, whatever.
Let's
Anyways,
make that clear.
It looks orange to me.
It is red. Kamado Joe is red.
But thankfully, it's going to have a cover over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people will agree with me that it's orange. If you think it's orange, just comment below.
Oh my gosh. No, they don't.
Anyways, but John got this $1,300 grill that you paid out of pocket. How much?
So I went to pick up some tile pieces that we're going to talk about, some stuff for the guys back here in the back. We're putting the floor in, and luckily I noticed it was on clearance. So it was half price, right?
Which was
$649. Mm-hmm. And then because we've been using Lowe's and they have a great pros program that gives you reward points, I had $550 in reward points, and I got a $1,400 grill for $141.
Woo! Give it up.
So, deal of the week. So that was good. And
there's still hope, y'all.
Yeah, it was great because I've been watching it for a long time, right?
It's going to be a good grill. So a lot of good things have been going on.
Made my toe feel immediately better pushing that grill out to the truck.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like for me, I've been carting kids around just back and forth, the volleyball to baton, and trying to keep up with Emmett and all his fees. And my dad did get approved for a kidney this week.
That's right. That was great news. Yeah, I went to eat dinner with him earlier in the week, and he's on the list.
On the list now. Yeah, that's a blessing. But other than that, we're just rolling along, building this house and selling real estate and all that. That's been good. But diving in today, our show, we're going to talk about flooring and how to choose flooring. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of flooring out there. Mm-hmm. And, going through the list, hardwood, laminate, LVP, there's tile flooring, carpet and stained concrete. Now, there may be a few others that,
Oh yeah, linoleum is one.
linoleum, the glue down squares and all that. But
Yeah, there's a multitude, but in new construction, mostly what we're using is this list. Right?
yes.
Yeah, so.
And in new construction, a lot of builders and custom home builders or custom clients are choosing to go the LVP route, which stands for luxury vinyl plank. And this just kind of floats over concrete. Do you have a bigger piece of this,
I do,
John?
yeah, right here. Yeah, got it. Yeah, it just so happens.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Okay, so this is an example of LVP, okay? And you can see there's a pad on the bottom of it here. And they differentiate LVP in types by the mil.
Millimeters.
Yeah.
Thickness.
The thickness of the thickness of it, And so generally the thicker it is, the longer it's going to last, and it gives you more of a cushion as well. And so this particular LVP came from Lowe's this time around. I also have another LVP that I like to use from the wood floor store. That I use a lot. But this is what we used on this house back here in the back. This is like a hickory type LVP, but it's waterproof. It clicks together.
Yeah, it's vinyl, so it's literally just like plastic, right? But it has that good look on it. And one of the reasons that we really like it is because of the weathering and the resistance to staining and water and scratching and all that.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will choose this kind of flooring because it's pet friendly. You're not gonna, pets. It's really hard for them to scratch LVP flooring and things like that, and it just really cleans up really nicely.
Yeah, we've been kind of hot on it for a while. It's a tongue and groove product, so it kind of fits together like this. And I don't know if you can see this from the lens, but it's just literally a pad, and then this is all like plastic in here, right? So it holds up really, really well. And then of course you got the top on it, which is of course decorative. I don't even know if you could hear me. So I don't know, maybe, but hopefully you got all that. It's a great product. It's so durable. We've been putting it in all the main areas of the houses that we've been building for last few years, really.
And talk about price just a little bit. As far as price related, now so related to hardwood, it's not going to vary that much. I think
appraisal value is the same.
Okay, talking about if you're going to get your money back or is it going to appraise, it's going to be the same. And that's kind of what people in the beginning, they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to lay this or not. I'm not going to get, enough money.
It's not, there's a misconception that it's not as nice as hardwood.
Right.
It costs the same almost. If you get super
it really
thick,
does. That's what I was going to say.
Hardwood, it's different.
Right. But it's, you can pay upward of like $5 a foot for this, $5, $6.
And especially if you're on a concrete slab, right? That makes all the difference. So,
right.
Because if you're not on a concrete slab and you're putting hardwoods in, you're generally going to put 3/4 inch thick hardwoods, right? And they're going to be much more expensive than LVP. But if you're on a concrete slab, you're going to be putting engineered hardwoods down anyway, the same thickness basically as this flooring, same cost. The difference is you're going to have those glued down. This is something that floats.
Yeah, you're not going to glue this. As far as pricing, I like that sample better. As far as pricing, though, just to give you a ballpark, we paid a little over $3 for this, a square foot. The hardwood that I usually choose and go with is about the same price, a little over $3 a square foot. Now, the difference is, like John said, you're going to have to buy glue with hardwood, and generally when somebody comes and puts it in, the laborer will charge you more.
It costs more, right?
To put in hardwood
just
versus
because you're dealing with
LVP.
You're dealing with more things, right? You're having to put the glue down. You have to wait for it. You can't on this LVP. They can lay the entire house. They did it in like 2 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas on a glue down, you can only go so far until you can't take the next piece and butt it into the other one because the glue has to set up, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're putting that together and hammering it together,
so it's a longer process.
The glue hasn't set up, then it moves, right? So then you can't go that fast on glue down as you can with LVP.
You
and
didn't bring a piece of hardwood up here.
it floats. Yeah, we didn't have any, I don't think.
We did. Anyways, well, then there's hardwood, y'all. And I usually deal with engineered hardwood. With that being said, it's not as thick as, a regular piece of hardwood per se, and really, like, engineered hardwood, it goes over a concrete slab. You can't use the thick piece of hardwood to put that on. You have to have it glued down to a slab, so you have to use the engineered. And engineered is just layered hardwood. So it's
smaller pieces, right? So it's what do you call that? A laminated product or whatever. It's like it's multiple.
It's still wood.
It's layered, right?
Right.
And it's still hardwood, but it's thinner because concrete is going to retain some moisture no matter what you do.
Well,
right?
that, and it's going to expand, and so it's engineered to withhold or give with the concrete. As the concrete,
the bottom layer kind of shifts and moves while the top layer kind of stays.
Right.
So whereas a 3/4 inch piece of hardwood that you put over a crawl space floor or wood floor doesn't move. It's a piece of wood,
and it's nailed in, and
right,
so that's
nailed
not going to move. Same kind of thing. It's really the same principle, so to speak, like a bridge. When they make a bridge, they make it to where, like you think about the very bottom piece of this engineered hardwood can move, and like the bridge can move because of the way it's engineered, the way it's over water, and it's not against the soil or whatever, so it moves some. So
I have no idea or any.
Really?
Bridges are not my.
If you look at a bridge,
we are not qualified bridge builders or bridge engineers.
But I like science. Okay, just a disclaimer. So, anyways, in talking about hardwood, I have to say that me personally, in my personal home, I lean towards engineered hardwood. I love it. I just do. I like it. I've used LVP. I like it too, but I'm just a hardwood type person. I'll pay the little bit of extra to lay it, and I'll go through the extra time it takes to lay it. And, hardwood also, you have to have it conditioned in your home. So before it gets laid,
that's a good point.
It's got to acclimate to the temperature. So basically it's going to
a couple days generally. You have to get it acclimated to the house, and you have to have your air conditioning in.
Right.
To make sure that
and
the
that's
humidity
else,
is out.
I mean,
LVP can go straight in, no problem, because it's not going to.
Yeah, we don't have our air conditioning turned on down there. The AC unit is not working, turned on or whatever. I mean,
we don't have permanent power to the house yet.
Right, and so we'd have to wait a little bit longer. But I'm willing to wait, and there's some people out there that just like hardwood, and I'm one of those type people. Hardwood too, I like the character in hardwood for whatever reason. I don't know. I think
as we see these products continue to evolve and get better, though, it's going to get more and more difficult to even tell which one is which.
Well, that is true. That is true, because even when we started this 8 years ago or so, I mean, like, we have seen it really evolve. And actually, my neighbor, she had initially put down the next thing that we're going to talk about. Was it laminate that they had down? It was like I don't know. It was... I believe so. Anyways, she just went and put down LVP throughout, and y'all, it looks like a brand new home. Mm-hmm. Like, it looks like new construction. And her house is probably somewhere around like 7 years old. Mm-hmm. But that new LVP just, made it. But initially she had
laminate.
So talk about laminate a little bit.
So laminate is a floating product, much like LVP, but it is not a true wood product. Basically, it is similar to this, where but instead of being vinyl, the layers, the bottom part is made up of wood, pressed wood or pieces of plywood or whatever, but small thin strips of wood, much like an engineered hardwood.
Yeah, and you can tell just by doing a cross section. This right here is vinyl.
Yeah.
There. And then a cross section of laminate is, like he said, the press wood
It's
type.
wood, right? Yeah. And then the top layer of that is going to be a piece of wood with a laminated design on top of it, a piece of paper or a piece of plastic or a piece of
it's not as durable.
That's printed to look like wood.
Right. And to me, I'm not a fan of laminate because it's super shiny. you know, and
Well,
it just
I mean, you can get it in all
looks-
finishes or whatever. I mean, but it's
It's generally what they first came out with as an alternative to hardwood as far as plank floating
right.
floor.
If you don't want to pay the full price for a hardwood before LVP, which is generally the same price, this is a cheaper alternative, right? And still, the thickness of the material is really what determines the quality, right? Because you can pay just as much for laminate as hardwood if you get that higher quality stuff. Typically, you're going to have an underlayment. So be aware that, like, if you get a cheap flooring, like a cheap laminate, you're like, oh, I'm going to save some money on this. Most of the time, you're going to have to also buy the underlayment and put that underneath.
Underlayment being like a paper that you lay out that covers the entire area of the floor, and then you lay the flooring product down. So
Yeah.
you're having to buy all of that paper material or plastic material. Not really sure.
It's a moisture barrier, basically, is what it's supposed to serve as, to keep moisture from getting into the laminate.
Right.
But and also to give some soft padding.
And to
underneath.
me too, like the laminate, it's not as giving as the LVP or engineered hardwood. If you're talking about a concrete slab, like it tends to, you know, when we show homes and they've got that laminate flooring, it's like you can just kick it, you know.
It floats, right? It's a floating floor.
a floating floor, but
it's a wood product versus a vinyl or plastic product. So that's the difference. It's not a hardwood, whereas, you know, even an engineered hardwood, you can't refinish it because the top layer is thin, but it's wood on top. Whereas a laminate is going to be some kind of vinyl print or paper or something like that looks like it but isn't really wood. Next, let's talk about tile.
Tile. Okay, I wish I had a sample. Of course, tile, you know, would scratch up our table.
This is a piece of
That's a piece of tile, but I'm going to talk about. I wish I had a piece of wood look tile, because that about 10 years ago, that was the big rave. 8 to 10 years ago, people were getting all this wood look tile, especially if they had pets. And that's fantastic. You know, for me, I'm not a fan of wood look tile. I'm not a fan of tile in like a room that you would spend a lot of time in, bedroom, living room. You know, to me, tile is just so cold. Literally, you know, it's cold.
And LVP kind of replaced that trend of hardwood
Yes.
look tile. Yeah,
Yes.
It's like, well, we want something, obviously the market said we want something that's durable, that we don't have to worry about, that's pet resistant.
Yes, a lot of people
Yeah.
with pets went the tile route, and we see even today that there's tile flooring throughout people's homes. You know,
Yeah.
bedrooms
And it holds
hallways,
up.
and
They're
it does
like,
hold
I don't
up.
want to touch it again. This is what you do.
It does hold up, and so that's an alternative. But generally, for me, I think tile. You know, I think kitchen, bathroom, those kinds of places, laundry room,
Wet areas.
Wet areas, correct. But tile has really evolved, though, y'all. Like, you can get tile. It used to be just the 12 by 12 squares. You know, a perfect square, 12 inches by 12 inches by 12 inches. And then the big thing was 12 by 24. But now, what was the size that we put in the one house? 48? I don't even, 36
Oh,
by
18 by 36.
18 inches by 36 inches.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big piece of tile. So big that it's hard to just even maneuver, you know. And so
Well, a couple things. People want to be unique, right? They
Right.
want to have their own thing that nobody else has.
it's beautiful, though. That particular sizing of tile is absolutely beautiful. And you're going to pay more for it because tile is usually priced by the square foot. And so if you get a giant piece like that, it's still going to be priced by the square foot. And so, like, if you break some of it, you know, you're paying, you're still paying by the square foot. So you can't, you know.
The reason we've seen, I think, so many different sizes and things come, you know, and there've always been different sizes, but we've seen a little bit of a resurgence in like different patterns and sizes and things like that because people want to be unique. Number two, the reason the large tile I think is popular is because people, the one complaint they have about tile is the grout. They have to clean the grout. And so the bigger the tile, the less grout, right?
But grout has become so advanced as well.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I don't know if you've got some Labor Day plans coming up or
little
whatever,
DIY,
but
yeah.
DIY, y'all, this changed my life as far as like, because I'm in the home business, you know. But if you ever grout something, make sure to pay the extra and get the sealer already in it.
No, it's not even that much extra.
Yeah, it's not even that much extra. What's it called? Sealant? Or
I mean, it's just you want to get a grout that already has the sealer in it, right?
In it, yes.
Yeah, because used to be we wouldn't do that. We didn't know any better, right? I mean, I think the product existed, but it's more prevalent now. We just put the grout, and you had to seal it, right? So we would go buy cans of sealer and spray it and all that stuff.
It didn't exist. There was a company other than this one here that had put it out that you mixed it in with it, and because I remember talking to Ray Yoakum, and he said, you've got to try this product, you know, because it's got the sealant already in it. And as a home builder, though, that really changed my life as far as tile, because the sealant, you know, people walk through all the time with mud, and you think, oh, I'm not, you know, I'll make sure I've got rugs down and this and that.
Cover it all up with paper.
You're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got plumbers and electricians.
Something gets ripped, piece of mud, red clay.
And then
gets
the
on
weather
it.
conditions, it's always going to rain. And so, like, you don't have concrete down, you don't have your grass down. And so it's a muddy job site with mud everywhere. And so mud gets walked on, and it gets into the grout. And when we talk about grout, it's basically when you lay tile down, you can't butt tile up together, okay, because of concrete and the way it expands. So you have to have, what is that? A grout line. A joint, yes. So it's basically the tile, the joint, and another piece of tile. So in between that, the joint, you're going to put like a grout type material, and that's what you call it.
You put a spacer there, right, between the tile, and you have to make that even as well. So it may be that it's used to be a 1/4 inch was like what was accepted. Now everybody's gotten, the grout is the devil, right? So we've shrunk down the grout lines as small as we can get them. So now they're like a 1/16 of an inch. So they're small.
Yeah, I'm a fan of those smaller grout lines.
Because you don't want to clean it.
You don't want to clean it.
But you do have to still have some space between there. So that grout product, you know, is what
But grout
fills it
is
in.
a porous material. You know, it's composed of like a concrete. I don't even know what grout is.
You'd have to ask your bridge builder friends. I don't have a clue what grout's made of.
But it is a porous material, and up until like recently, it got very dirty, and it's really hard to clean. And I'm sure most of you have experience trying to clean grout. They also make grout pens out there that
Grout Refresh.
Yeah, that you can actually like change your grout color throughout. We did that one time, and it really
sucked. I did it. It was not fun. I hated it.
You literally had to paint every single
Yeah, but
grout
just imagine
line.
taking the grout line and using a magic marker basically and like coloring it out, and then you have to go back and wipe it off. It was terrible.
But now, our friend Jessica Davenport, I think back to her because I think she did that to her personal home. Her personal home, and she changed the grout with that paint pen or whatever, and it looked amazing.
Oh yeah, it looked good when we got done. We did it when we were trying to sell our house out there in Arrowhead, and
because it will. Let's talk about grout real quick. You have to have grout. I've seen,
and you would think that it's just one product, right? Like, we just have to have grout. It don't matter, just do it. But no, it's got to be 700 different colors of grout.
Yep. So you have to pick your grout color.
And you got to sit around and agonize over it, make sure it matches your tile and your cabinets and your floor and your lighting.
Let me just talk about this real quick.
Your paint.
I am a grout Nazi, so to speak, and I don't want to jinx myself over this, but grout is just important as a paint color. Okay, my experience with grout, if you read on the internet, I had to research just a little bit because this is the tile that we chose for the bathroom, and it's a hexagon type tile, and there's it varies. Every piece is different pretty much, and the veining, and I mean some of them are like more white, and then some of them are really blotched up with this veining type stuff, and I don't know. The sample at Lowe's, the grout was charcoal, which is very dark. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a real big contraster when it comes to grout. I'm not a big contraster, like people lay subway tile, and they put the black grout in the middle to contrast. I'm not a big fan of that. And so I've really...
Why? Tell them why.
I don't
know. Reason you can't put black, or we don't like to put black, right, is because if you have any variance at all, one little tile is a little bit, and you're looking at that straight line, it shows up,
yeah,
right?
Shows
if you
up.
put white grout, you can kind of, not that we want low quality work, but you get in a corner somewhere with this subway tile and it's a bunch of pieces.
Right, and you squint your eyes, you can tell.
It doesn't line up just exactly. The top piece is a little bit off. It'll draw your eye if
Basically,
you have black.
you have
if you
to
have white,
use
it blends
spacers. And So yeah, so that and I'm type A, and I want everything to kind of just just blend and all that. But for this particular tile,
Make it look
though,
like paint.
oh yeah, bless. For this particular tile, though, I did use a dark charcoal because at the end of the day, I want to see these these hexagon shapes on the floor.
You want to know what the heck you're looking at.
That's right. What the heck's I'm looking at? Oh my dear, y'all! I have to deal with this daily. And then
Hey, she gets to live
exactly
in this environment. Can you believe it?
I'm so funny, which that is pretty funny because I have to
wasted comedy
process
genius.
it.
Yeah.
Like I have to fight for what I want to say, and at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, that's funny. What the heck's? Anyways, but I wanted my hex to show up. I didn't want to lose it, and I didn't want it to blend into the floor. I wanted it to be a pronounced item in the room because everything else is pretty much white. And so at the end of the day, I chose a contrast with that. This is my laundry room floor, and this actually is a fourth of a big square. And so this type pattern is 4 of these will make up a bigger design like this. And so I had to choose a grout color. And with this, at Lowe's will give you like little sample boards or whatnot that'll have
Like any flooring store will.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, we don't work for Lowe's. We don't.
Right.
If you want to be a sponsor of Lowe's, you let us know because we spend a lot of money there. But any flooring store will give you grout samples, not just Lowe's.
Well, I mean, like when that on the board or whatever, and the board said I think alabaster with this, which if you look, you can kind of tell. For me, when I choose a grout color, I just kind of go through. And I immediately see my eye just, I can see a pleasing, it pleases me to see that color right there. Like for whatever reason, that just really pops. That doesn't. But at the end of the day, I chose a darker color because it is a laundry room. And I want the design to pop too. So I chose iron. And so they used to have these, I'm sure you could still get grout samples and things like that, but I actually went a step further, and I have these bigger chips. Basically I have a bag, y'all, that if you're in the market to build a house, I can literally look in my bag and we can build a house from that bag without really even going to a store.
Weighs about the same. Weighs about the same as a house. Yeah.
So that's grout. Moving on. Let me just get on to carpet.
Yeah.
Talk about carpet for a second.
A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are against it. I don't want any carpet. Us, on the other hand, we kind of like carpet.
Yeah, I'm a carpet person.
Not wall-to-wall carpet, not 1985 wall-to-wall carpet.
No, I am a carpet for me personally, I prefer a plush, kind of a higher pile carpet. In the bedroom only.
In the bedrooms, yeah. Not any high traffic areas, really. You're just in and out of there maybe once or twice a day. It'll hold up. Instead of having to go and buy rugs, you have the carpet that's there, right? And then you can change it out. You could go back later if you wanted to do something different. But for us,
in the master, though, I think we kind of stick to just for resale purposes because some people won't choose that hill.
Yeah, some people are so anti-carpet. And look, I get it. Some people have allergies. Some people have... I guess that's the main issue, right? Dust, dander, pet dander, stuff like that. If you don't want to deal with that, then absolutely get rid of carpet, right? But we use it. We use it
in guest bedrooms. And then
bonus
rooms. Yes. I remember this one particular house. We built it as a spec, and we put it in the master too. We put it in the guest bedrooms, and then we put it in the master too. And we had to wind up ripping it out and putting in blaze drive, putting in hardwood.
Oh yeah, because the buyer wanted that, right? And we wound up,
we had to pay for flooring twice.
Yeah, but they paid for it on their price.
But in the end, it's like, ugh. So usually
take that brand new carpet out and throw it away, though. It's kind of tough.
I know.
Right?
I don't even remember what happened to it or what. Anyways.
I think they kept it. I think we just rolled it up and left it there because they didn't.
Yeah.
They were going to use it in the garage or something.
But now, we usually put hardwood in master bedrooms. In the guest bedroom, we still do. In bonus rooms, we still do carpet. Carpet is still, super
affordable is a big reason, right? Like, that's a good reason to use it because it doesn't run the cost up much. You can install.
And it's so quick.
You can install. That's what I'm going to say. You can install a carpet in half a day. You can get a whole the bedrooms and maybe the hallway or bonus room, you can get it done in a few hours. Those guys that know how to do it come in, cut it, tack it, kick it.
Yeah, those guys. John got into a fight. Almost got into a fight
Oh
with
my gosh, what are you telling?
with our last carpet and stuff.
We're gonna do that on the
That's for
next.
another show.
We're gonna do that on the next show, actually. Yeah, because I've got a plan working with Lance here about what our next show is gonna be.
Anyways, that's
save
carpet.
that story. Tune into
Yes.
the next.
And then
one.
you have stained concrete, and stained concrete is what is well, it used to be what was in Rick's restaurant.
They still have it, don't they?
I think they changed. I don't know. Anyway, stained concrete.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean,
it's just concrete,
yeah.
and then it's got this sealant on the top of it that it's just sealed to where it's a floor. But here's the thing:
polished to a finish, right? It's not just like broom finish, like a driveway.
people are like, "Oh, that's so cheap." It is cheap, but it does cost money too.
It's not cheap. It's not any cheaper than any of these other flooring choices. I found that out because I had a client that wanted to use it. So I called our friend John Hyde, who does the epoxy flooring and does stained concrete.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah. And he said it's like $5 a foot. And I'm like, well, that's what it costs to put LVP or any other thing in there. So I had to go back and say, hey, look, here's the deal. I mean, if you just want straight up concrete in there, that's one thing. But if you want it to be epoxied and look good.
But you have to have, for the loan to close, usually the flooring has to be.
You have to have finished flooring.
Finished.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to discuss with her, just say, look, you need to understand that if the bank isn't going to close your loan, you're not going to get your money back out at the end of this deal.
But it used to be cheaper, though. Stained concrete used to be a cheaper alternative in the long run. And I don't know if like some of that epoxy material has went up just sky high or labor.
Well, that's a different thing, altogether. But like, you got to finish it out. You got to basically, if you're going to whatever room you're going to do, you got to finish it out, buff it to a higher shine than you would.
Oh,
if
our
you're
church, our new campus at Shoals is stained concrete.
Yeah, and the other thing is concrete is always going to crack.
Yep.
Every piece of concrete ever been poured in the world will crack. It's just that's part of it. It's gonna.
And for whatever reason, too, I don't think that poly holds up to a lot of cleaners because, that stained concrete does kind of like give off like an urban, industrial, cool look to it. And so people started using that and they started using it in their homes. But like some of those places, though, like if you look on the floor, like it's got a ring where something was, laid there or something, like a cleaner was spilled somewhere, like.
Yeah, everything is going to have its own.
But generally speaking, though,
maintenance.
right? Like I don't know if the poly has went up or the labor has went up, but generally, like stained concrete used to be your cheapest alternative as far
We've
as
never
like,
done it.
We've never done it really. I know that when you do build a house, you get a set number of dollars to build your
allowances.
house. You're allowed so much money. You're on a budget, and at the end of it, in order to close your loan, you have to have landscape. Okay, to close your loan, and you have to have finished flooring. And a lot of times people will skimp. We've seen in a lot of homes where they've skimped and put in stained concrete, and they've got all these beautiful, elaborate, like double ovens, and and then it's like, oh, you ran out of money.
Yeah. Yeah, you may see that too. Like, and that
I've
some
seen that
people
a couple
choose
times.
it. And that's
yeah,
one
but some
thing.
people, some people do choose it for that modern, industrial, cool look.
But same thing with landscape. You get to the end of it, and if you see a house that's got one
bushes,
one or two bushes in the front, and like
they ran
just
out of money.
some straw and seed,
and that's okay too, because you can always go back and add. But anyways, well, that pretty much wraps up our show this week. In talking about flooring, which one is which one will you go with? There's not. Oh, you've used this one, your house is going to sell. It's really what meets your needs and what you're comfortable with. And so at the end of the day, any of these choices are really great choices for a home. Hardwood, laminate, LVP, tile, stained concrete, or carpet. But anyways, it's not a dirt floor. So
that's right. Yeah, which is what some of our grandparents
that's right.
grew up on for sure.
Great grandparents, John.
No.
Okay. Anyways.
Well, I don't know. My grandmother for sure dirt floors.
Dirt floor.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Grandma.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Like they were sharecroppers, you know, like they were
Right.
poor.
So we can add dirt floor to the mix, but
Dirt floor, don't recommend it.
that's
So,
right. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week and hope you enjoyed the show. If we can help you in any way, just let us know. And if you have any questions, just comment below. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the House Guy and Home Girl podcast, your #1 source for all things home. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out our YouTube page for video content from the show.